Hi everyone, it's Amanda again, and it is July 2020 and time for the Q&A for Patreon. Yay! Okay, see what we got this month. Okay, this one's from Michael. What can you tell me about Elon Musk and his vision for the future? There's a second part to this. Elon Musk and his vision for the future. Okay. I'm kind of asking, like, what was his purpose? What's his, like, life purpose? What's he trying to achieve here? Or if he has a greater mission, or... vision for the future. It feels like he's got a little fear. Let's go psychological on this. He's got, because of his childhood and his upbringing, and at times not feeling safe here, he has a desire to go somewhere else to make sure there's a backup plan. He wants a backup plan. Which I feel like, even if he doesn't realize it, is his reason for wanting to get to Mars, his drive to get to Mars. He wants a safe place. He projects his emotions, kind of, to the world, to all humanity. And he just wants to protect. He wants a safety net. Vision for the future. Yeah, he just wants... His vision for the future is that in case this all goes wrong here on Earth and people are crazy, then he can go to Mars. Or humanity can go to Mars and be safe. Are the 4,200 Starlink 5G satellites being put into orbit around the planet a good thing or a very bad thing? I've seen him on an interview joke that it's joke about the Terminator reference. I've never felt like he did it for bad. I never got that feeling when watching him, but let's look at how that could be used. I don't think he has ill intent, but let me look and see if that maybe could be used for other purposes. Immediately, I felt like this is another safety net for him in case someone tries to take over satellite control. I feel like he wants control, but I don't feel like he has control. I feel like these are being used by somebody else, or he has some contractual obligation. I don't know a lot about this program, but that's the feeling I'm getting, that he's contractually obligated to someone else. I'm not sure why, but I also feel like he kind of secretly has a way to take control of all the ones that he's launched in case of emergency. And also maybe to monitor things that he maybe doesn't trust that we're being given, that we're always given in a timely way information about things that we could prepare for. And it really links to the safety, his feelings. He wants to feel safe, and he hasn't felt safe, and he's really striving to do literally everything humanly possible to create safety nets for himself, and then it extends into humanity. On the surface, what it feels like to him is that he is helping humanity, because what else is there to do when you have everything that you want? You just feel like, let's do something good for the world. So on the surface, the satellites are going to provide services for people who wouldn't get them if he hadn't done it. Not that he's not making money off of it, but I do feel two things. Basically altruistic. Secondarily, the scared little boy in him from when he was a kid, the uncertainty around his parents and who takes care of him and what he's going to do. He's creating safety nets for himself. I'm not sure whether he even knows that's what he's doing. Maybe he does. I'm not seeing anything bad around that. But again, they don't they don't always show me the bad stuff. They don't want me to spread the bad stuff. So I may not be a good person to ask if that 5G satellites. Yeah, I don't have the bad vibes about 5G that other people do. And there were questions before, maybe a year or two ago, about that, and I don't know. I feel a lot has to do with your perception. We control how our bodies react to things. This goes to diet too. I mean, if somebody hands you a piece of chocolate cake and says, this is like 5,000 calories and it's the best cake you'll ever taste, but you may get a stomach ache eating it, if you're suggestible, and most people are, you're probably going to get a stomach ache and feel like you ate something really bad. But if somebody sets that same piece of cake down in front of you and says, this barely has any calories, and the calories that are in it are processed by the body so effectively, like this is a new kind of cake, and you're going to get it has a high nutritional value, but you can't tell because it still tastes like the best chocolate cake you've ever had. And your body will process out anything remotely bad, and you'll get only benefit from this. So eat all the chocolate cake you want. Well, you're going to have a better attitude towards eating that chocolate cake, and you're probably not going to have a stomach ache. You're probably going to feel pretty good about that chocolate cake and want to get more. So it's all about perception. It's all about how things are presented. And if 5G is presented as this horrible thing that's going to do bad stuff to you, and I mean, yeah, if you put your face in front of a microwave on purpose and see if it wrecks your cells, then you're probably not going to have a good experience there. And part of humanity is deciding, do we want convenience at the expense of health? How much do we believe that that's really harmful? There's so many aspects to this, but the basic idea is it's about your perception of it, and it's what you want to do with that perception in the 3D that matters. So if you don't like 5G and you think it's very harmful and you want to be an activist against it, do it. That's what you want to do. But if you're in an area like I am where there isn't 5G, I'm in the country, and we already have whatever 4G tower, it's a ways away, but we have fine, our cell phone service is fine. I can't imagine what 5G will do for us that 4G doesn't already do. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. It's all about perception. And yeah, 5G and perception. That's all I got on that. Okay. Laura. Let's see. Move this out of the way. Wild animals around the world have been observed behaving in very unusual ways, including coming very close to humans and showing no fear of them. They often seem disoriented. Can you talk about what they are experiencing in this time of tremendous change on our lovely planet? Okay. I'm getting that, I'm hot, like heating up. That's been happening when I connect in lately, just like exuding heat. Exuding, is that a word? Multilayered on the animal thing. Okay, so they're going to have to explain the third thing. First two, it depends on the individual energy of the being coming close to the animals. If you're high vibration, not feeling negative energy, not feeling aggressive or anything like that, I've noticed when I go for walks in the morning, I'll just be walking, not thinking about, not thinking really about my surroundings, and I'll look down and there's a rabbit standing right in front of me, and it didn't run away. Like, whoa, that's unusual. So in some cases, it's your personal vibration. In other cases, there's like I want to call it geomagnetism, just the fluctuations in the energy field of the earth coming from within the earth itself can sometimes disorient animals. And they're telling me about the birds that sometimes just fall out of the sky. And they're clarifying for like geomagnetic seismographic reasons. They get disoriented and they just like lose their minds, basically. So there's that. There's the geomagnetic seismic sort of confusion that can happen. They're making me feel like it's different reasons in different places. But when you take it as a whole, it looks really weird. And the third, feels like it's coming from outside Earth and impacting all life on the planet. It feels ascension-y, like I thought the animals were already sort of ascended. I thought they're still impacted by the energies. I was asking if our collective consciousness of humanity on Earth impacted them as well. They're saying it's like a different, I got the word biome. I'm not sure if that's, it's like the wildlife is on a separate level than humans and domesticated animals. Humans and domesticated animals on one level, and then the wildlife is on another layer, not level, because levels implies like a hierarchy. It's just a different layer. Well, even layers implies one goes on top of another, but this, there's so much energy out in what we call space, and we're moving through it all the time. And then what we're moving through right now that we can't see and we can't measure it, but it impacts them, but I can't see that it's, when it impacts us, it's causing changes to us, and we can process that by thinking and feeling. Sorry. But it seems like to the wildlife, it's just feels weird. They're showing me like blowing misty air in a dog's face or something. They just kind of like, what's that? Yeah, that's weird. And so it's like that for the wildlife. It's this energetic that we're passing through, or it's passing through us, our planet. And it's just a little confusing to them. Like, it's just a little different, not confusing. It's a little different. And so how that looks to us when we look at them is that they're acting strange. Because they're like, whoa, what was that? How do we, what? What's going on? I hope that helped. All right. This one, I hope I can do this one justice. Yeah. All right. Okay. I have my explanation for how the void, or nothingness, invariably takes on the form of a sphere of infinite dimensions, but I can't quite figure out what gives movement to form, what puts the form of nothingness into motion. It's an origins question. My intuition is that the sphere, which includes inside of it all possible forms, then gives birth to a vibration, which is two halves of a sphere. So perfection and all forms are included in vibration, but I still can't figure out how the first vibration appears. The case of the void, or nothingness, is something which cannot not exist, since it's nothing, and its form is directly linked to its very nature. It's an inherent property which does not require any external force or creator. Okay, so what gives movement to form? What puts the form of nothingness into motion? All right, they won't give me anything else until I say this. I was trying to get the bigger picture first. We look at this from sort of a science-y perspective, but outside of this perspective, there is something called, they want to call it, what? Thought form creation, which is the movement caused by intention or thought creation rather than physical creation. If you look at all that is as okay, so if you think of a soul, or the stuff that makes us up, like the light being stuff of us, which is just a word I'm using. As a consciousness energy. It's energy that thinks, if that makes sense. So what we see as nothingness is actually energy. Energy is not even a good word. That's what we have to call it because there's no word for it. The nothingness is not actually nothing. It's everything. So, if you need to break it down and look at it as particles of everything instead of nothingness, you can't see. When you have nothingness and blackness, you can't see, touch, feel, experience, measure any of it. But imagine that if you could see it, it's full. It's completely filled. Every space is filled with the ability, with a consciousness that has the ability to decide this happens. And it's that intention, it's the consciousness that creates the movement, not a physical. And it's hard for us maybe to grasp because we can't really move anything with thought, or most people can't. Although, my daughter the other day, I said, I was looking at a can on the counter and my hands were full, and I looked at it and I looked at her and she handed me the can and I said, "That is so cool. I just moved that can with my mind." Because I didn't actually put my hand out to grab that can. I thought, I want that can. I did use my eyes to sort of signal to her that I'm looking at the can and I want it and my hands are full. Anyway, so, that's kind of an example of how to move things with your mind. But yeah, we don't usually do that. We have to have physical, because we're in 3D. But in the nothingness, or the all, however you want to call it, it's a completely different mechanism. It's not the same as it is from our perspective, living as humans in this earth life. So let me see if there's anything else I want to say about that. They're saying it's uncomfortable for humans to think of the infinite or the endless or being nothing. So we try to classify it. It makes us feel more safe. There's a safety theme in here today. Because it's too hard for us to live as humans in the way that we have to live and think of the vastness of just being a part of what seems like nothing to infinity to us. It's not actually nothing to infinity. It's everything. And the infinity is every possibility. And it's ever... how can infinity expand? I don't know how infinity can expand except to say that it is infinity, because every intention, every movement, everything a consciousness explores, an energy consciousness explores, tries, creates, leads to more consciousness thoughts. It's really hard to come up with words for these concepts. We just don't have good words. So it leads to more things. Like if you go outside to pick a flower and you pick it, then that might give you an idea to do something else. Oh, I want to re-landscape this part of my garden. You know, so, I mean, obviously, in the vastness of all that is, that's a very simple explanation. But, you know, what if you create a world and in the eons of time that you explore everything that you can do on this world, you get an idea for something else. What if we had double worlds? What if we, you know, whatever. I got off on a tangent there. I hope that made any kind of sense. Maybe that will inspire you and you'll like cohesively put that together, because I know that I'm not that great at explaining some of these ideas, especially with the limitation of, you know, the fact that we don't have words for how things exist outside of, you know, Earth. So, all right. Kishi, question 1. What imagery can we specifically use to help Julian Assange against the psychological torture they're using on him, and more specifically, that frequency machine or device that they have aimed at him? I don't know anything about that. But assuming that's true, because that's what you say, you've obviously know this from somewhere. So what imagery can we use to help him? Wait, are we helping him? Yes, helping him. So what imagery can we use to help Julian? They're showing me an image of it doesn't look like humans. It looks like maybe they're just showing me people surrounding him. Like if you imagine an image of him sitting in a chair and he's just kind of, he's not all there. He's trying to, you know, keep it together, I guess, maybe. And then an image of all the people that support him, surrounding him. And it looks ridiculous. It's like an onion. You know those blooming onions? They have all the different, like, I haven't had one in a million years, but it like has all these fingers and these layers that go out. There's so many people around him. Like there's just all these layers of people, and then the next layer and the next layer and the next layer and the next layer. So it looks like that surrounding him. So maybe if he felt, if you send him that image that he is supported, I feel like that's what they're saying he needs. He needs to know he's supported right now, right in every minute. There are always so many people are surrounding him with their energy and their support. What about the frequency thing? He can control. Well, they're telling me what he can do, but that doesn't help him, unless maybe you send that information to him. He can just imagine the frequency he prefers and create it in his mind. They're saying we can all do this. So if you're ever in a place where the music is irritating and grating on you, maybe it's not the right frequency for you. You can imagine, I don't know, for me it would probably be being in nature and hearing birds, the wind. So support imagery surrounding him. You know, the image of so many people surrounding him physically would feel comforting, and also that feeling of support that goes with it. And then sending him the information that he can counteract any frequency with a frequency of his choosing. And also people can send him nature frequencies or frequency. Like you can meditate, like I'm listening to, I don't know, it's called good morning music. I just love it. It's a certain frequency. I don't remember what. But you could meditate to that and then just merge yourself with his consciousness and allow him to enjoy that frequency that you're listening to. I didn't know we could do that. I guess if enough people do it. How do we use our imaginations to develop our natural psychic gifts? Sorry, I had something. I felt like something was trying to come in here, and I'm like, back off. I'm doing something else right now. So you're saying first you have to know what your natural psychic gifts and talents are. And you'll know this just by looking back. Like, what are you interested in? What have you been fascinated by? That's a hint. What commonly happens to you? Do you get the intuition to do something and then you think, well, that's ridiculous. Why would I grab an umbrella? Or that's ridiculous. Why would I take an extra key? And then later you find out you actually did need the extra key. You actually did need the umbrella because you had to give it to somebody else who needed it for something. You know, you didn't have anything to do with rain, whatever. You know, that's kind of like a precognition thing. But if you look back on your life, there are patterns. And you can use that to discover that you were already naturally talented in that. And then how do we use imagination to develop that? They're saying you don't need imagination so much as allowance and trust and practice. You could visualize, I mean, that's a way to imagine. Visualize how you want those gifts to work. Visualize being proficient, more proficient at it. And if you do that, you need to add emotion to it, like gratitude for having that gift and being able to use it in service to expand humanity's awareness of who they really are. Oh, that's it. Okay. I guess that's all for today, and I can't think of the other things that I was going to ask about. So I'll have to write my questions down too so I don't forget. Well, I hope everybody's okay and hanging in there. And thank you all for your service on the planet right now. And I'm so glad that I have all of you to talk to and do this fun stuff with. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you again next month, and personals will be coming out within the next week. Love you guys. Bye.